What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so we all remember Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem played about 19 or 20 years in the NBA, somewhere along that time period. And the last few years, he really was more of a mentor rather than an actual player. But he was essential to the Miami Heat culture, the team. He was their enforcer, a leader, a teacher. And, he may become one of the few role players that will have his jersey retired just because of what he meant to the organization. Not from a statistical standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint and inspiration and influential standpoint. But back in the day, he was actually a pretty impactful player, especially the first 10 years of his career. And of course, he was on those Miami Heat teams. He was on the Miami Heat team with Dwayne Wade that won the championship in 2006. And he was on the quote-unquote Heatles teams from 2010 to 2014. Now, most of the dick licks will tell you that LeBron James was the best player and the most impactful player and the most important player on that team. But however, in a recent interview, Udonis Haslem says that in his opinion, the most impactful and most important player on that team was Chris Bosh. And this is what he had to say.
I'm telling you, CB, if he stayed healthy, would have still be playing.
Everybody think that our most important player was Bron. Our most important player, not our best player, but our most important player was CB.
Yep. Man.
He was our most important player. Because if Bron went down, you could bring in D-Wade, and it's not the same player, but you're gonna get similar results of what you're gonna get out of the player, making plays. He can go for 30. We couldn't simulate it. We didn't have another CB. If that one went down and he got hurt, we didn't have another one of those.
And the way Spo started using him too was impossible to guard. Like, he was shooting threes. Like,
that's why
that man was cold, brother.
He closed it out on threes as a big.
That's what I'm saying. And that was back when
pop threes too.
Did that.
Think of pop threes.
Yeah, so he said that recently on, what is this podcast called? The OGs, with Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller. So he recently said this, and I agree with him. I agree 100% with Udonis Haslem that he was the most important player. Usually, this is something on a lot of those LeBron teams back in their heyday. There was usually another guy, whether it's Chris Bosh or Kevin Love, there's always another guy that had to make these big adjustments. And I remember he used to get so much, Chris Bosh used to get so much hate in the media, so much hatred, especially from Skip Bayless. Skip is the main guy that started this crap. Calling him Christina Bosh and all this stuff. But Chris Bosh is the guy that had to make the biggest adjustment, because whenever you play on LeBron James' team, you cannot be, especially back then when he was driving to the basket more, for him to be able to have the room to do the things he had to do, you couldn't be a traditional post big man. You know what I'm saying? Bosh had to make a lot of adjustments. If I'm not mistaken, Bosh had to lose a lot of weight because he was playing more on the perimeter, be a little bit more mobile. Not that he was a big guy, but he lost a little weight. I think he was around 245 when he was with the Raptors. I think he lost maybe like 15, 20 pounds. He learned how to shoot from the outside. I think he got a lot better at setting screens, playing off the ball. Obviously, he had to make a lot of adjustments, and he struggled the first year, definitely. And he caught a lot of ire, but eventually got to the point where by those third and fourth seasons, man, he was starting to thrive, and he had really become a matchup nightmare being that big, 6'9", 6'10", or whatever, and being able to shoot from outside. But that was a big asset that the Heat had. When you look at it, they had a couple of guys that could shoot from outside that were big. Him, Mike Miller, I think was like how tall was Mike Miller? 6'10", 6'8", 6'8" maybe, something like that. So, I can see that. Like LeBron James, obviously was their best player, but if he went down, Wade was used to playing that role before. Wade was that guy, a little bit on the decline, but he was still a guy that could get you. If LeBron can get you on any given night 27, 7, and 7, Wade on any night could get you 25 to 30, 5 and 4. So it's something. But you couldn't replicate what Wade did, what Bosh did with any other player on that roster. So I understand exactly what Udonis Haslem was saying. And watch the dick licks of coming into the video without even listening to what I had to say, without listening to what Udonis Haslem had to say, and they say we hating on LeBron. Because that's how stupid they are. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.